Hey guys, I'm Bobby.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth.
On Now You Know.
So, hey, Jesse, you just got back from vacation, but you don't look that well rested.
Yeah, I missed my birch bed. I had trouble sleeping at 3 different hotels.
Oh, right. Thanks to our sponsor, Birch Living, which is a premium mattress in a box company that makes mattresses and sleep products that are stylish, comfortable, and environmentally conscious. You got an awesome birch mattress a few months ago.
Yeah, but the first hotel's mattress was too hard, the second hotel's mattress was too soft, and the third
was just right.
No, actually, it smelled like plastic.
What?
Yeah, after sleeping on an organic birch mattress, everything else smells kind of funny.
Wait a minute, how can a mattress be organic, though?
My birch mattress is certified by the Rainforest Alliance, the Eco Institute, Green Guard, and the Global Organic Textile Standards as using only organic wool and cotton, natural latex, and recyclable steel. And birch mattresses are handcrafted in the USA.
Well, now I want one.
Go ahead and order one.
Yeah, but the thought of going down to the mattress store and trying to stuff it in my car.
No, you don't have to do any of that. It takes a minute to order online, and it gets delivered to your door in a small box all rolled up. It's very fun to watch it inflate. Just visit birchliving.com/nowyouknow to get $400 off your birch mattress plus 2 free pillows.
Well, that sounds easy.
Yeah, and you're going to love it. It's so comfortable. I didn't realize how much better I've been sleeping until I went on this vacation.
Yeah, but what if I don't like it for some reason?
If you get it and you don't like it, they have a 100-night sleep trial. Birch will pick it up for free and give you a full refund so you have nothing to lose. And don't just take my word for it. Consumer Reports recommends it, and U.S. News rates it the best mattress of 2021.
Visit birchliving.com/nowyouknow to get $400 off your birch mattress plus 2 free EcoRest pillows.
We're brought to you by abetterrootplanner.com. Use our link in the show notes below to get a 30-day free trial to the premium app. And we're brought to you by BigBattery.com. No matter what you need to power, Big Battery can provide you with the latest battery tech at the best price per kilowatt hour guaranteed. Their batteries are easily installed, require zero maintenance, and they're made right here in the U.S. Pick up yours today at BigBattery.com and use the code NowYouKnow for 5% off at checkout. All right, so you might be wondering where Zach is. He's taking a break for this in-depth. About time. And we have our very own editor, Bobby Briggs, in the studio, in the house.
What's up, guys? I'm hyped. I'm so excited to be on In Depth. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I want to thank Bobby. You've done 5 years of Tesla Time News this week.
It's true.
You've been editing every single one of them.
Yes, that's true. And same with Brent. You know, me and Brent have been down in the studio editing Tesla Time News and In Depth for 5 years. And you've been doing it for 5 years, too. So
that's true.
It's not just us.
Good point. I know, but still. Now, you made a video the other day that I thought was really interesting. You shared it on your social media platforms because it was something that you were interested in.
Yes.
And I watched it and I was really, first of all, impressed.
Thank you, Jesse.
Great video. I mean, I don't know where you learn all these amazing video skills.
Oh, yeah, I wonder,
And so I just wanted to share it with everybody because I thought it was very important. So let's check it out.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Briggs here. So I've been a Disney Vacation Club member since I was born 25 years ago in 1995. And I've been going to Disney almost every single year of my life since then.
Now, Disney really did make my childhood so much more magical, and I can't wait to bring my kids there one day so that they can get the same feeling that I get when I think back to all the memories made with my family growing up.
So you might be asking, why are you making a video where you're bashing on Walt Disney World? Well, it's actually because I love Disney so much that I want to hold them accountable for all their mistakes. And one of their biggest mistakes? Diesel buses.
If you've ever taken a ride on the People Mover in Magic Kingdom, you'll know that Walt Disney had very innovative ideas of the future cities of humanity. And Disney has adopted some of those ideas into their parks. They use monorails, People Movers, and even the new Disney Skyliner's gondola transport.
But one of the most outdated and harmful transportation systems in Disney World is their bus fleet.
Walt Disney World has 400 diesel buses that take you from the resorts to the parks and pretty much anywhere in between.
And it's all for free. Or so it seems. As many people know, diesel vehicles are really not good for the environment. But today I want to focus on 3 things that you might not normally think about: human health, noise pollution, and cost. Now, if you're a Disney fanatic like myself, you might be watching this and saying, but Bobby, Disney uses renewable diesel fuel, which is much better for the environment. And to that I say, yeah, you're actually right.
In fact, biodiesel decreases greenhouse gas emissions by 56 to 86%.
Disney even released a statement on this for Earth Day.
This Earth Day, Walt Disney World Resort turns the key on a new initiative to convert the buses that carry guests to a cleaner fuel that will ultimately reduce emissions by nearly half. By doing this, the Disney Transportation bus fleet became one of the first in the country to run on R50, a cleaner renewable diesel made from used cooking oil and non-consumable food waste.
But that's not the problem here, and that brings me to my first point: impact on human health.
PM 2.5 is particulate matter with diameters that are generally 2.5 micrometers and smaller. They are more than 25 times smaller than the width of a human hair. As air is inhaled, PM 2.5 particles enter the body through the nose and the mouth. Air passes through the respiratory airway and reaches the alveoli. The smallest particles diffuse through the alveoli and into the bloodstream, where they're transferred to all organs of the body, affecting normal function.
It affects the lungs, immune system, heart, and developing brain. But the question is, does biofuel release PM 2.5 into the air? And Disney said it themselves. It's made from used cooking oil. I eat food with oil all the time, so why would this be harmful?
And while we could talk about the harmful effects of rancid cooking oil all day, biofuel actually still releases PM 2.5.
And your body doesn't really care whether it's cooking oil or not.
In a study done for the Environ International Corporation in Novato, California, they state that the increases and decreases of the PM due to the biodiesel fuel use are extremely small and should be considered not significant. A 2019 study in Environmental Health Perspectives studied short-term exposure to PM 2.5 in over 6,800 children. The study suggested that PM 2.5 exposure worsens existing inflammation in the brain caused by everyday stressors that result in mental health symptoms.
But the effects of air pollution aren't just limited to children.
Many findings on air pollution, and depression specifically, first came out of research done on mice and how their behavior changed in response to air pollution exposure. In this 2011 study in molecular psychiatry, researchers exposed mice to increased PM 2.5 levels for 8 hours a day, 5 times a week, for a 10-month period.
This is about the same PM 2.5 exposure as someone who lives in a relatively pollutant-free suburb and commutes to an urban area. Just think about all the kids waiting for their bus after Disney Park, just breathing in that pollution. And that's what makes phrases such as refilling my pixie dust when the bus runs out of fuel so infuriating. Disney is going to sit there and call this literal poison pixie dust? Now, speaking of waiting for your bus, that brings me to my next point, which is noise pollution. Fun little backstory, when I went to college, I was on the 5th or 6th floor of my dorm. My classes didn't start till 9, but every single morning I would wake up at like 6 o'clock to the screeching of bus brakes. Just would totally put me in a bad mood all day. Now we'll come back to this later, but I want you to keep in mind that electric buses, because they have regenerative braking, aren't always going to be using their brake pads. So noise pollution can cause the body's stress response. One of its major health effects is chronic stress and the high level of stress hormones that come with it. As a result, noise pollution has been linked with health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, and strokes.
Epidemiological studies have provided evidence that traffic noise exposure is linked to cardiovascular disease such as arterial hypertension, myocardial infarction, and stroke. Noise is a non-specific stressor that activates the autonomous nervous system and endocrine signaling.
I just got back from Disney like a month ago, and I took a video of some of the noise pollution.
Could be listening to some music right now, could be having a peaceful conversation with my brother, but instead, here we are, smelling diesel PM 2.5, and I can't even hear myself think.
Now, I know this sounds like a first world problem, but when you're on vacation and you're trying to enjoy yourself, it really is frustrating when you just got this low rumbling noise going on the whole time and you just cannot think straight. With an electric bus fleet, you could actually sit there and wait for your bus and enjoy some ambience, some music to keep you occupied. Talk to your family. Now, let's talk about costs. The cost to fuel and maintain these massive vehicles is astronomical.
The average bus costs about $4,300 to fuel per year, and an additional $1,700 per year in maintenance for tires and all the other problems that come with the complexity of a diesel engine.
So based on those numbers, I estimate that Disney spends about $2,400,000 per year on maintenance and fuel costs alone. So what's my solution? Well, either Disney has to get rid of their bus fleet entirely, or they need to upgrade to electric buses. I propose that Disney invest in a fleet of electric buses from a company such as Proterra. Now, Disclaimer, I do hold stock in Proterra and I am incredibly bullish on their company. I am not a financial advisor, so do not take this as financial advice. I'm just telling you what I know about the company and what I think will be a great investment for Disney.
Proterra is an American automotive and energy storage company based in Burlingame, California. The company designs and manufactures electric transit buses and electric charging systems.
There's a couple of points on why I think this would be such a great investment for Disney. Electric buses have lower maintenance. They're quieter, they're healthier, they're way more innovative, and they would make Disney look really good. It would cost more upfront for sure, but Disney would save so much in the long term on fuel costs and maintenance. But beyond the cost savings and the innovation, the most important thing here is the priceless cost of human lives. I just have a really hard time imagining my kids sitting at Disney breathing all that poison in. And it's just something that I didn't think that as a kid Disney was about. I think this is a great opportunity for Disney to show that they care, and let's face it, they have the money to make this happen. So Disney, I really urge you to listen to my points and try to make a change. Not just because it will make you look really good in the press, but because it will show your guests that you're willing to make innovative changes and will really help push Disney towards Walt's dream of a better tomorrow.
Now, I actually started a petition on change.org, so definitely go check that out in the link below, and let's see if we can convince Disney to make this change.
Great job, Bobby. I mean, where'd you learn all these editing skills?
I don't know, dude. It's just been like, I just woke up one day and I realized, hey, I'm actually a video editor. Obviously, I edit the videos on this channel for you guys, and I thought to myself, what's something I care about?
Right.
And as you just saw in the video, me and Jesse are both kind of Disney fans.
I'm not as big a Disney fan as you are. I mean, you were born into this. I live with a Disney fan. I don't know if you can tell. This shirt was made for me by hand by the person who gave it to me. I wonder if you can guess who it is. But you made some really good points in this video, and we have a link to the petition for people to sign down below in the description. So I encourage people to do that.
Yes, it's true. We have a petition in the link down below, and if you could go down there and just take a quick minute to sign it, that would help us get this word to Disney and hopefully make a real change.
Yeah, because there are some really important points in this video. And the first one is obviously human health. I think that human health is it's pretty important.
The thing that made me so mad, and I obviously heard me say it in the video, was the fact that when you go to Disney and you're like looking at the buses go by and they're running low on fuel, it says refilling my pixie dust.
When the dust itself that it's emitting, the PM 2.5 particles, it's not going to make you fly.
Yeah.
It's going to lower the IQ of your children.
Yes.
and give you awful diseases. If you're a viewer of Now, you obviously know a lot about air pollution caused by combustion engines, a lot more than the average person. So obviously someone at Disney was like, what do we use to when the bus is going to go refuel? And they're like, I don't know, pixie dust. Great,
Yeah.
Slap it on there. But yeah, it's like pretty messed up that children are the most affected by PM 2.5 pollution. And this is supposed to be, a magical place for children. But yeah, buses, obviously, diesel.
Yes.
Not that great.
No, and one of the things to talk about is not just the diesel PM 2.5, but something I didn't even include in the video is brake dust. And you mentioned that, Jesse, like when you have brake pads and you're not using regen braking, that's another factor that we don't even think about when we're talking about kids waiting around for their buses. When I was growing up, Disney, like we talked about, is this magical place where you go to forget about the problems of the world and you go on vacation and you're just supposed to be transported into this fantasy land, basically. And it's just sad to realize as an adult that there's this whole aspect of our health that Disney's just completely ignoring.
Yeah. And to put it into perspective, if you're like really lucky and maybe you live in Florida and you have the Disney World, vacation passes or whatever, you might go, I don't know, 5-10 days a year, maybe 14 if you're using all your vacation time on it. So it's not that much time that you'd be spending at Disney and exposed to buses. I think the bigger question to me would be about what about school buses?
Right. That's a great point.
180 days a year, your children are going to be getting on smelly diesel buses, but this is Disney World.
Yes.
This is the most magical place on earth.
You know, Disney has a lot of eyes on it. People are paying attention.
And Disney could make a really big difference if they were to switch to electric buses.
Yes.
I want to talk about noise. You brought
Yes.
up noise pollution. Now, you have had a magical experience at Disney World every time you've gone. I think from the perspective of a parent or maybe someone who isn't as into Disney as you and is taking someone else, Disney can be kind of stressful.
Oh, yeah.
Because we gotta go see all these different things. We gotta wait in line. We get the fast passes where we're gonna eat, all that stuff. And then to throw on top of that, a loud, smelly diesel bus with screeching brakes, probably early in the morning. We gotta be there for rope drop. Quick, scarf down your continental breakfast. Let's go. Let's get on the bus. And the bus pulls up. And you're sitting on the bus, and it's just another little bit of stress to add on top of a vacation that's probably already very stressful for a lot of people.
Yeah, noise pollution can cause a lot of different stressors for humans. So when you're on vacation, it really can just overwhelm you. What I like to think more about is like what it could be. Like what experience could you have if you didn't have that low rumbling, bus noise the whole time, or the screeching of the tires? What would that experience be like? I'm sure if you already were dealing with a screaming kid who was too hungry or something, like that alone is enough stress. So to add on top of it, the background noise and the non-specific stressors, it just really can hinder your vacation.
Right. Well, and it also doesn't fit into what Disney has set out to do. I mean, if you look at Disney on Google Maps, they have separated the parks from the roads as much as possible.
Yes.
They've tried their very best to make sure that the noise and hustle and bustle sounds of your everyday life is gone, and you're in a magical universe full of rides and characters. And
I mean, they do it with the Horizon Line thing. I don't know if you've heard about that, but Disney makes sure that you can only see a certain distance out into the horizon. You're either lower down so you can't see past the tree line, or they build a giant, great, landscape to keep you enclosed, like Star Wars land.
Right.
And so they're putting a lot of effort into making you feel like you're in this magical world. And like you said, it takes you out of that when you hear the screeching of a bus. It's almost like waking up to an alarm clock.
Right. Now, I think the most convincing argument for any multinational corporation is, of course, money.
Yeah, from the research I did, it actually wouldn't be that much more expensive to switch to an electric bus.
Yeah, and I mean, I did some more research, and it's actually even better than what you outlined in your video. Here's a quote from Brian Popple. He says, "The financial savings depends on customer-specific energy costs. As an example, a 40-foot Proterra bus without batteries could cost around $550,000. The annual lease price for our standard Proterra E2 vehicle is less than $40,000, which can provide customers with a total savings of around $75,000 during the 12-year life cycle of the vehicle versus a standard diesel bus." Yeah, I mean, take a look at this chart here. That orange part up at the top, that is the annual savings of $8,000 per bus.
Yeah, you can see it. It's like a whole chunk of that you're getting back.
Right. And I mean, lease is typically going to cost more over time. And I think that Disney especially could just upfront the money to buy a bus and maybe save some money in the long run, increasing the total savings annually per bus to beyond the $8,000 per year. So, I mean, just to compare, a diesel bus, a new diesel bus costs about $500,000, $500,000. A Proterra costs about, as they said, $550,000 to $750,000. So it is more expensive, but over 12 years, you will save $129,000 on fuel alone. That does not count maintenance or anything like that. We had a really interesting interview with Green Power Motors. They're an electric bus company, and he was talking about the midlife of diesel buses, how basically, the bus frame and the axles and stuff might be fine, but you're probably going to have to go in, replace the engine, the big diesel engine, which costs a lot of money, kind of rebuild the whole drivetrain of the vehicle just to make it last for the lifetime of the diesel bus, because there's these hidden costs. It's the same as you go to a car dealership. It's like, for only $29.99, you're going to be getting this new blah, blah, blah. It's like, that doesn't count all the maintenance that you're going to have to put into it. Diesel buses are expensive to run and maintain compared to electric.
Another point that I want to bring up is these diesel buses that they already have at Disney are getting towards the end of their life.
Right.
And so they're going to have to make a change soon anyway. And so like all the points you just brought up of like, let's take into account the cost of maintenance over time. this is going to save Disney a lot of money.
So now what is the plan for Disney's diesel buses?
They don't like to be very public with this kind of thing, but I did a little bit of research, and the only thing I could find is that Disney said that they are planning to maybe phase out the buses instead of replacing them, which is great that you're reducing the diesel fuel if that's the case. But the whole park is designed for the bus transportation. Disney's 42 square miles in space. And so like it's a lot of road in between parks.
Right. Because I mean, if the buses aren't going to be moving people, the alternative would be to have every family coming to the park in their own minivan, SUV. Like no one's really, you're not packing up the children in a tiny little car. So it's just going to be switched over to actually less efficient forms of transportation, just because if you have a bus, awful smelly diesel bus, packed full of people, the emissions per person actually goes way down.
Yeah, because you're sharing.
A lot of people like to point that out. It's like, well, why don't we just have public transportation? So switching to an electric bus would further reduce the emissions per person down to an infinitesimally small thing. Also, you wouldn't have any more air pollution. You wouldn't have any more noise pollution. It would solve a lot of the problems. It sounds like, I mean, Disney probably just doesn't want to have to deal with these diesel buses, which are going to be going, out of service pretty soon because, it's kind of expensive to maintain, and they're probably not thinking about electric buses. And again, is it the most important thing that, Disney switch from diesel to electric? No, I would say that like a school system is probably more important, but Disney could kind of get ahead of this. And they have the money. Like they spent $4 billion to buy Star Wars. A couple $1 million to replace their bus fleet with electric is not that big a deal. And if they're saving money,
I mean, you could argue that this is also going to make them money in the sense that the things that you could do with these buses, you could actually attract new people to the parks.
Exactly.
And I mean, me and Jesse have been talking about this for weeks because we've been kind of like brainstorming this video. And I mean, just the opportunities alone that Disney could have with this, I mean, we're getting really excited about the prospects of it.
So let me just imagine you're at Disney World. You want to go take the bus. The easiest thing in the world to me is now the bus doesn't make any noise. So any kind of speaker system you want to put on there, any kind of talking, maybe a character. I mean, I rode on Rise of the Resistance a couple weeks ago. It was amazing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm jealous I didn't get on.
Part of it is that you get onto this transport shuttle and they're like, everyone, we need to go. We're going to the place. And then you're taking off and, there's all sorts of feeling. And then, you get off and you're somewhere else entirely. So clearly I just walked into a box, right? There's a facade of a transport ship that I'm getting into. The box that I went in went somewhere else. And then I'm arriving and it looks like the ship that I was on. Couldn't Disney do the same thing with an electric bus? Couldn't they either put me in a box and shove the box, onto the bus, or have me walk onto the bus through a door so I couldn't see that it was a bus, and then have me arrive in Star Wars land?
Disney's whole thing is storytelling.
Right.
It's always been their mantra. Like, what story are you telling by getting on a smelly bus and bumping around? But yeah, like you're saying with a character driving the bus, like what I think too, if you're a Disney fan and you've been on the Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway, you know that Goofy is the one driving the train. And there's a really, really cool cartoon of Goofy, and it looks 3D, and it looks like he's actually driving, and it's actually autonomous. But you could have it so that kids get on the bus and think that Mickey Mouse is driving them to Magic Kingdom.
Exactly.
And he could say, oh, hey, you folks, look out to the right. And, oh, yo, look at that. There's the castle.
Right.
And I built that in 1931. Whatever, just you can have a story being told as you get to the park. That helps convince you that you're a part of this fantasy.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the monorail.
Yes.
Monorail was not cheap.
No.
It's electrically powered, which I like, but it was part of Walt's vision, right? Walt had a vision of the future, like you mentioned in your video.
Yes.
Of the world of tomorrow. And I don't think that diesel buses would have been part of his vision. I think that he would have really liked electric buses.
I think so too.
Solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, so just a disclaimer, I mean, Jesse and I are both investors in Proterra and Disney. And I think that one of the important points you brought up is Disney's mission statement. I mean, like, what is it? It's starting to get very muddied up. It's almost like I think Disney's mission is to make money. And it's like...
Which it is.
It is at this point.
It is, but honestly, electric buses would help that mission statement.
It would.
And it's good PR.
It's great PR.
It's great PR to just say, hey, we have all the money in the world, but look, we're doing good things with it. Like we bought electric buses, and they could be the leader. They could push for electric school buses. They could either have a annual scholarship kind of thing, some kind of like, we will donate money to, little Timmy who, wrote us a letter saying that he wants a non-smelly school bus, and they have a cute picture of him and his school bus with the smoke coming out of the tailpipe. Like, you don't think that's a great PR home run?
Oh my gosh.
Every single time, and they
Absolutely.
donate one of the buses that's maybe on the way out to that school district, just proving that it works economically is one of the biggest like hurdles that electric school buses have. If Disney was going after it, it's just great PR for Disney, and they could invite little Timmy to come to Disney World and shoot a little promotional video of Timmy, getting to drive the electric bus that he wanted for
I think
his
I'm
thing.
little
Like,
Timmy, Jesse.
exactly.
I think you're describing me.
And then the pixie dust makes a lot more sense.
It makes so much more sense.
I mean, the buses could make different noises. It could sound like Steamboat Willie.
you could have a strip of road where like you're in a ship, a Star Wars ship, and let's say on the windows you've got a screen that makes it look like you're in outer space, and oh my God, here we go, guys. The acceleration on an electric bus, you get a strip of road and you go into light speed. Like,
exactly.
The things you could do, like you were saying, you could make the bus a ride itself.
Exactly. I mean, let's just say, you wake up early in the morning because you have to make the rope drop, of course. It's the most important thing in the world. And you're at the resort, and instead of, I know a lot of the ones you can get on the monorail. Let's say that you're at one of the ones that you can't get on the monorail, because those are the ones I stayed at, the Pop Century.
Oh yeah.
But let's say that you're staying at the Star Wars hotel, spending $600 a night. You don't want to ruin your experience. You've been in Star Wars land.
You already took the space elevator up to space.
There you go. So you're already in space. Why would you want to get on a diesel Earth bus to get anywhere? No, you want to get on an Imperial troop transport from The Mandalorian with Bill Burr driving, say. So have that experience. And the Imperial troop transport, it doesn't have a diesel engine.
No. Why would it have a diesel engine?
Why would it have a diesel engine? All of these experiences can't be had on a diesel bus.
Yeah.
It's too loud. It's too smelly. They couldn't have it drive up into an enclosed area, right, where you think that you're getting onto something. Like, you couldn't have any of this happen. They're going to be able to make it a more immersive place, and that's exactly what Disney really wants to do.
Yeah, and you don't like Star Wars? Oh, well, go on the Disney app. You go to the port that you want to go to. You have kids, go to the Mickey bus.
They could pick you up from the airport. Now, this gets into an idea that I've had for a really long time.
Jesse's very excited about this idea.
Disney Airlines should just have themed airport experiences. Maybe it's just from a couple hubs, right? Maybe you have to have a connecting flight. But I would do this. Like, I would fly to Cincinnati if Terminal C was like Star Wars themed, right? And you walk in and all the TSA agents are, maybe you already go through TSA, but then you have to go through another layer of Imperial security, and they're stormtroopers, and they're like, "What's in that bag? Step aside." You had, smugglers. Guys that just worked at the airport, but they would get stopped and frisked at security by the stormtroopers and pulled out of line and make a ruckus or whatever, and you had droids going everywhere. You'll say that instead of windows, it's a big screen, and it looks like, you're going to get on some spaceship, and then all the windows on the plane are covered, right, and it looks like you're in space, and then you're going through turbulence. We're being attacked, everyone back to your battle stations. Instead of please buckle your seatbelt. It's like,
I think you've reached full immersion at that point.
Then you land, you get on a electric bus to take you to your hotel.
You never see the real world outside of it.
You're in Star Wars the whole time, and they could do this with anything.
They could do it with Marvel.
Right.
You could have Tony Stark flying beside you as your Iron Man on the plane.
You're not on a plane. You're on the Avengers plane.
Yes. You're on the Avengers jet.
Yeah, exactly. All of these different things. I want to hear your ideas for rides, because I'm a big Star Wars fan, which converts me into a Disney fan all of a sudden. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you want to Jungle Cruise bus, electric bus that takes you from a very long distance away, whatever you're thinking. I want to hear them down in the comments down below.
Yes, definitely.
Because
we had a lot of fun just like goofing around about this stuff and like coming up with like imagination ideas, but that's what Disney's all about.
And I mean, this is 400 buses.
Yeah.
It's not nothing, but it's not a lot. It's something that's completely achievable. And once Disney does this, and I think that they will, I think that it opens the door for electric school buses even wider than it has been before, because it really will push people to go, oh, well, I saw it at Disney.
Yeah.
It's exactly the right demographic of people to see that you have electric buses. All you need is a little plaque somewhere that says, this bus is 100% electric and run blah, blah, blah. Here's our little boring blurb
They could
that
put it
Dad
on
reads when he's at the airport. And then he goes home, goes to the PTA meeting and says, hey, we should get electric school buses.
Yeah, and they could put it all on their Disney TV. Like when you go to Disney and you're watching the like promotional things, take the new Disney bus using the Disney app. It's all electric, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I think that we can really get them to make this change. And so I think call to action for you guys. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, me and Jesse came up with the hashtag EVDisney. So make sure to tweet at Disney and send them this petition, send them this video, because I really do think that we can get them to change. And if you know anybody at Disney or if you work at Disney, please feel free to reach out to us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com, because we'd love to talk to you about some potential solutions to this.
Right.
And yeah,
start talking about it.
Start talking about it.
If it slowly works its way up the chain, and maybe that's something that Bob would be interested in.
Absolutely.
Or, if you know Mickey Mouse, Mickey would probably also be interested in it.
I think Mickey would like it.
I
yeah.
think that if we get Mickey in a Tesla, I think because it's a big cultural icon. It's something that if they make a change, the rest of the world is going to make a change as well. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this kind of a interesting in-depth. Bobby, thank you so much for doing all the hard work, all the research, and coming out with that awesome video. If you don't want this whole discussion or anything, you just want Bobby's video, you can go check it out over on his channel. We'll post the link for that below as well. And we'll see you next time. Now you know.